How can we avoid the fires of hell if we can't stop sinning?
Say sorry.
What else before that?
You have to confess your sins, then you say you're sorry. He knows.
Episode 6 is titled The Age of Reason. The title refers to the point at which a boy becomes capable of understanding the difference between right and wrong, according to the Catholic Church. In this episode, Margaret's son Teddy is about to have his first confession and first communion, and that's sort of the backdrop for the entire episode.
One thing I really love about Boardwalk Empire is that the titles of the shows always are really important, and they kind of signify what the whole show is kind of dealing with on a larger thematic level. So The Age of Reason is an interesting title because actually it's the name of a pamphlet that was written by Thomas Paine in the 18th century, and it was really about a criticism of organized religion, about the church's role in politics at the time. He was a big American revolutionary, so it's really very much about the separation of church and state. This idea of rebellion kind of infiltrates many different ways, and also this idea of religion is something very interesting too, where you see little Teddy who's been having trouble at Sunday school, and now he's being, his family's being called into the priest's office to talk about that. And so, revolution starting at a very young age, and whether it's the church or whether it's the power structure of Atlantic City, everybody's pushing against the borders and, bristling against the conventions of the time.
I'm sorry, Daddy. It's just, I want to be done with this.
Lucy giving birth alone was really a great moment for Paz as an actress. I think she was absolutely terrific in the scene. I mean, she just dug so deep emotionally and physically to depict this scene, and it was really beautifully shot by Jeremy Pedezua. But I think on a bigger level for the character, it really just shows her isolation from Van Alden and the fact that she's left there alone, and that she finds the intestinal fortitude to do this herself and just go through this is sort of a transitional moment for her too. I mean, Lucy, up until this point, has been a kept woman and is really sort of depending on other people, and here is maybe the biggest thing she's ever going to do in her life, and she does it completely alone without the help of a doctor and comes through it with flying colors.
Hey, kid! Can you get your mom? Please!
When I first read this in the script that Lucy was going to have the baby on her own in the apartment, I thought, wow, it's like really intensely dramatic. It's also really terrifying. And I knew for Paz de la Huerta it would be a very big thing for her to portray, and a very difficult thing because, so many of her scenes in the show are alone, and that's a very hard thing for an actor, I think, to do. You don't have anyone to play off of. You have to create the entire drama yourself. Here, she's helped by the fact that her situation is so dramatic and profound. What I really discussed with her, which she was very much on board with, was, kind of creating a difference between each of the scenes. So there's a different dynamic that she's playing. It's built into the script, but we had to really kind of develop it a little bit more. So this whole thing of Lucy brushing her hair as she's preparing to have her baby was something that was in the script, but to be honest, when I read it the first time, I didn't really understand what that was about. I was like, she's gonna have a baby. Why is she standing there brushing her hair? And I talked about it with Bash, the writer, and she said, well, this is the beginning of her taking charge. She's like, okay, I'm gonna prepare myself. It's like kind of that determination coming into play. So she's kind of like setting the stage for the whole thing. So she brushes her hair, she gets herself ready, and then she's ready to do it. And I think with Paz, because she's very much a kind of intuitive, organic actress, that she really had to find it herself. And sometimes when I was rolling, I didn't know what was gonna happen. We discussed it, but it's one thing to discuss it in the abstract. It's another thing to actually play it.
Here we go. You remember Herman?
Jesus, Manny.
Hey, not my shop, boy chick. Try down the road.
Dragged me up here for this.
I invited you to hear from the horse's mouth.
Manny makes Jimmy kill Chaim as sort of a power play. I mean, I think it works on a few different levels. I think, first of all, he wants to see what Jimmy is capable of, if he's actually, will he step up and do this? And it's also just a subtle kind of mind fuck. He's going to make him do something that he himself should do. He obviously kidnapped the guy, beat him up, and has him hanging upside down. And it's just a way of keeping the balance in that relationship tipped in Manny's favor. Manny makes reference to the kosher butchering practices and why he can't do it because Chaim is treif, meaning he's injured. In kosher butchering, you can't do that to an injured animal. So, of course, Manny jokingly says, well, he can't do it. So, of course, Jimmy's got to step up and do it.
But we all got to live with the rules.
The scene where Chaim gets killed is a scene that actually required a lot of discussion and preparation because it is a very complicated thing to do. He's hanging upside down through the entire scene, which in and of itself is a thing because actors can't hang upside down and no one can hang upside down for an extended period of time without possibly having some serious damage. The amazing thing about the actor who plays Chaim is that he'd done some circusy, stunt-worky kind of things before, so he was quite comfortable with the idea of hanging upside down for an extended period. We also had a double for the back, a stunt double, who could take some of the heat off of him and hang for the scenes behind his back when necessary. But he was still hanging for a long time. He was incredibly game and forgiving, I would say. It's a beautiful scene, and the set that we built is beautiful. And the writers create these really exciting, unique scenes, which are always interesting to shoot.